Today on the Bucket List Life, we are exploring a prisoner of war camp from the Civil War here in Tyler, Texas. Of the Confederacy, as most know. Texas seceded just a few months after South Carolina, and it joined the side of rebellion against the northern part of the United States. So here is where, starting in 1863, where prisoners were sent to endure their stay of the war. Sometimes there was hope of an exchange of freedom. Like the Union would say, okay, I've got 3 of your men, and the Confederacy will say, I have 3 of your men, let's do an exchange. So this was kind of the place. Of course, there's many POW camps around the South, but this was one of the locations where prisoners of war would stay. What is interesting, in Texas, we don't have a lot of Civil War battlegrounds that we can visit, just because Texas being one of the southernmost state, not a lot of battles were fought here in Texas. However, this POW camp in Tyler, Texas is the largest POW camp west of the Mississippi. So what's interesting about this camp, when it was first established as a POW camp, there's actually not even a fence or a stockade around the perimeter. It wasn't until a load of 600 prisoners came that they found it necessary to build a fence. And when I say fence, I'm talking about a very large, sturdy, about 16-foot fence. But that was not foolproof. There was an account of some of the prisoners actually building tunnels to escape. One group of prisoners dug a tunnel 100 yards long to escape outside the perimeter. However, their plan failed because shortly after their completion of the tunnel, the camp decided to expand its borders, therefore making the exit of their tunnel still within the camp. So that was a crushing failure for those prisoners. So on the topic of attempted escapes, there was numerous people that tried to escape the camp. And sometimes it was easy as just walking out. Sometimes it was easy as hiding in the dumpster cart. Sometimes it was easy as prying one of the massive logs out of the fence away to escape and run to safety. However, that run to safety was not a guarantee. In fact, it was very, very difficult because it was 300 miles to the next Union safety point. So yes, prisoners could escape, but they knew that finding their next point of safety would be almost impossible. But not impossible. There were 75 successful attempts of people that made it to safety. What made Camp Ford in Tyler, Texas just a little bit more livable than other POW camps was this spring-fed stream. This allowed fresh water to flow through the camp. And the camp was very intentional about keeping their water source clean. They had a designated spot for drinking, designated spot for washing dishes, and a designated spot for washing clothes and people. So with this system, Camp Ford only had a mortality rate of 6%. That was 300 soldiers that died at this camp. That's not something to really brag about, but in comparison to other POW camps, it was pretty good. So I am sitting right beside a replica of a prisoner's cabin. Now these prisoner cabins were built by the prisoners. However, there was many difficulties. Although we're in such a wooded area, you'd think there would be an abundant supply of lumber. However, with so many soldiers camped here, it was kind of deforested, and eventually lumber was hard to come by. Another thing that was hard to come by was tools. Getting an axe or nails or whatever it may be to construct the cabin was very difficult. Sometimes there was like a waiting line for tools. So some prisoners had to be creative in their living situation, and they even resulted in digging little plots within the ground so that they'd have some shelter from the elements. After visiting this very historical site in Tyler, Texas, I have a new appreciation for the prisoners that stayed here and sacrificed years of their life while they were waiting for freedom. And it's just another reminder how we need to be thankful for the freedoms that we do have and the troops that serve us today. So thanks for watching the Bucket List Live. Subscribe and hit that bell.